First, we're going viral. The Ravens traded up to draft Lamar Jackson with the 32nd overall pick on Thursday. Lamar's Louisville teammate, Jaire Alexander, stopped mid-interview to show his emotions.
Thing is here, you know, and Lamar, what? Sorry, Lamar, it's surreal, it's great. My boy Lamar. What? What pick? What pick?
He went to the Ravens last pick of the round.
Hey, supporting his teammate right here.
Go, man.
That's what support your teammate.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
Is there anything you want to say to Lamar?
Let's go, man. I told you, man. I told you. I told you, man. Hey. Yeah.
That was awesome, man. Both of them, a number of question marks. Would they be in the first round? Alexander hurt a lot this year, only played in 6 games. Lamar, we know about the critique as far as him. Man, that both of them going in the first round for Louisville to have those first rounders, pull them for you. Pull them for your brother, man.
Louisville had 2 first-round picks. Louisville, right? That's a basketball school typically, correct?
Yes.
How many first-round picks Michigan have?
What, is it NFL draft?
Yeah.
0.
What about second-round picks?
0.
Oh, okay. So
Weren't they in Paris or something?
Yeah, they got more. They have more European vacations than first or second-round picks.
Yeah.
CC.
Yeah,
I've been trying to tell you about Harbaugh, man.
They're not producing NFL players at the rate they have at any
But you
other.
can't have Louisville getting a couple first-round picks. Fort Hays State had a pick.
Nah.
Mid-round.
Oh, we was done with it after the 4th pick. Sit down, Ohio State. Sit down.
Ohio State. Okay.
Time for some stories to start your morning. The Browns drafted Baker Mayfield with the first overall pick Thursday, and it looks like he will be holding a clipboard for Week 1. Head coach Hugh Jackson said Baker will be 3rd on the depth chart and learn behind starter Tyrod Taylor and journeyman Drew Stanton. CeCe, how long till we see Baker Mayfield on the field?
Got to be careful with Hugh. Last year, Deshaun Kaiser, he is my quarterback. Baker Mayfield's going to play. And just right, they're doing the right thing. Start him off as the number 3. Yes, behind Drew Stanton. Drew Stanton's future is past him. All right?
His future's past him. I got you.
I've never ever said that.
I followed you. I understood.
I've never said that before. That was a good one. But just as Baker Mayfield passed the other quarterbacks in this year's draft, because I believe when they started the draft process, he was at least number 3 on the draft board as far as quarterback. Josh Allen was number 1. Darnold number 2. He passed those quarterbacks. Same way he's going to pass up these other quarterbacks. He will start in the month of September for the Browns.
In the month of September? Wow. Okay, so earlier than I said he'll start at least half the games. So I would set him to start maybe around the tail end of October. But I'll say this, the quarterback he was compared to the most, Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson was coming into a team not as the first overall pick, and a team that had spent a boatload of money on Matt Flynn. And he was so good in the preseason and training camp, they started Russell Wilson. I'm sure the Browns would love to have Baker be so outstanding, they could put Tyrod on the trading block because the team will need him once there's a quarterback injury. My guess is Tyrod starts Week 1.
I think they have too many explosive wide receivers. Tyrod doesn't have the arm that Baker has. I believe they go to Baker so they can hit all aspects of the field.
All right, moving on to basketball. Warriors beat up on
Also,
the
all portions of the field.
Pelicans.
We got you.
23-101 to take game 1. His future is past him already. Durant and Clay combined for 53 points. Draymond Green had a triple-double. Nick, how impressive did the Warriors look without Steph Curry?
Man, they looked great. They looked fully engaged, fully switched, and that defense was like a swarming pack of dogs. And I say that in a very complimentary fashion. Like every time Anthony Davis got the ball in the second quarter, it looked like the Warriors had 7 players on the court. Like all of a sudden, Draymond's coming from the weak side. Kevon Looney's playing outstanding minutes for him. We knew that New Orleans didn't have an answer for Kevin Durant. We didn't know they weren't going to be able to score.
This is the first time since Steph was out of the lineup that the lineup looked like everyone knew what their role was. Great job by Steve Kerr transitioning from the semifinals, from the first round where it didn't look against a team that was not athletic in the Spurs. Great job by Kevin Durant and Clay setting the tone early, shooting the basketball.
Absolutely.
That's how you do it quick.
Rockets beat the Jazz yesterday to take game 1. James Harden finished with 41 points, 8 boards, 7 assists. Rockets' fourth straight win by 10 or more points. CeCe, how impressive was Harden and the Rockets yesterday?
He was so in control. Very impressive. Didn't seem like he was trying to rush it. Didn't seem like, as the MVP who hadn't been crowned yet, didn't seem like he was trying to prove it. He seemed like, I've had the best regular season. Let me show it in this game. Picking his spots, when he was going to drive, when he was going to shoot the three. Oh, man, it was awesome to see. And also the effort that he plays defensively with now is definitely that people thought James Harden will never be a decent defender. Well, they're wrong.
Listen, he had the quietest 40 points, the easiest 40 points. When he hit that step back three to get to 41, because we were watching the game, but the game was on mute. And so when I saw that and knew he was coming out soon, I checked the box score. I said, that dude got 41? Like that. I mean, the Rockets looked great. I mean, a big shocker. The two best teams in the NBA playoffs have been Golden State and Houston. The two best teams in the regular season, Golden State and Houston. They are playing up to their seeds.
All right, finally, over the weekend, the Jazz eliminated the Thunder in Game 6. You know, at the start of the season, we referred to the talent on this team as the Big Three, Russ, PG-13, and Melo. But let's face it, it was really just the Big Two, and often just the Big One. Let's talk about Melo. Carmelo Anthony only had 7 points in 26 minutes in Game 6. And after a series where he averaged less than 12 points, and entering year 16, you'd think he'd consider shifting his role. Not so much.
Yeah, I'm not sacrificing no bench role, so that's out the question. As far as sacrificing, I don't even like to talk about finances and the economics of the game of basketball. When that time will come. Like if and when we have to sit down and talk about what's the future and ideas and situations, and that time will come. I honestly don't even feel comfortable sitting here talking about money money in basketball.
As long as he gets what's owed to him. If it wasn't coming, he'd feel very comfortable. What do you make of what Carmelo Anthony had to say?
Well, first, he shouldn't have to talk about his money's guaranteed.
His money's guaranteed. He just has to opt into it.
Yeah.
Which he hasn't.
Right, but he's going to. Like, he's going to opt into that. No one's going to pay Carmelo Anthony $28 million to play basketball on a lifetime contract moving forward. Carmelo will pay you $28 million for the next 30 years. No, no one's going to offer him that either. Listen, Carmelo's the first player to ever bring any of the teams I root for a championship in my lifetime. I'm a Chiefs, Royals, and Syracuse fan. He will always hold a special place in my heart. I also think he's been an unfairly maligned professional player. People forget he carried a team to the Western Conference Finals early in his career in Denver. But the reality is this right now. Those comments about I won't even entertain coming off the bench, that is a level of basketball delusion that someone close to him needs to talk to him about. Carmelo Anthony, not only is he no longer a starter on a good team, he right now as a basketball player is not a starter on a bad team. And a real question is he above replacement level? When you incorporate how limited he is defensively, and all of a sudden his shot and his scoring ability has left him, he is a negative on your basketball team. Now, he's going into year 16. That happens to a lot of guys. A lot of guys don't make it to year 16. But to not have the self-awareness to simply say, I would have had much less of a problem at CeCe had he said about the money. Listen, I'm not even talking about the money. Now, about coming off the bench. Yeah, that's something we'll discuss. He did it in reverse order. He was like, coming off the bench, I'm not even entertaining that. Well, you need to entertain that. Because I don't see him as a useful player on a quality team, much less a useful starter.
Carmelo did a trick there. He tried to go back to the hoodie because the hoodie this summer when he lost some weight and he was playing a 24-hour fitness and everything, playing against a couple guys who, might have had a cup of coffee in the NBA, looking real good. Everyone was like, whoa, Melo, man, the Big Three in OKC. Oh, no, Melo's washed, man. It's a wrap for him. Like now, as far as if he wants to be, I look at him and Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade is a champion. Imagine Dwayne Wade saying, when he was going to Cleveland, oh, man, I can't be no role player. I can't come off a bench. Imagine Dwayne Wade finishing this season, which he did with dignity with the Heat, being inspirational to that team. Said, no, I can't come off the bench. If these guys can if he can come off the bench, why can't Melo come off the bench? What's the difference in their age? Difference in when they came into the league?
Same year, same draft class.
Same year, right?
D-Wade's a year older than him.
Right. When you're playing the way Melo is playing, that option of coming off the bench to your benefit, it might enhance. Playing less minutes, playing against the number 2 players, where he can match up, he can get in the post, he can get as many shots as he wanted against in that second rotation. That's a good role for players at his age. But his only problem is his ego, because that's all you heard in that.
Enormous.
That's all that is.
Listen, I do not begrudge Carmelo Anthony at all when he picks up that $28 million player option. The Knicks didn't have to offer him that contract, and the Thunder didn't have to trade for that contract. Everyone did that knowing Carmelo's going to see every dollar of that deal. But it is frustrating for me, for one of my favorite guys, to not have the self-awareness to say, listen, I'm going to do whatever it takes. We're trying to win a championship here. We've got one of the best players in the world in Russell Westbrook. We're trying to keep Paul George. I'm going to get with Billy Donovan.
He just said it. I ain't trying to win no championship. What's important is me, that I'm in the starting lineup and I get my shots. You are not going to win a championship with Melo. And you could see his attitude is not even about a championship. If you would have asked a question about a championship, he would have slapped you. Y'all would have been fighting up in there doing the interview.
All right, let's move on to the Cavs last night. It was never supposed to come down to a Game 7, but it did. And if my math is correct, that means LeBron has played 45 million minutes in this series. Averaged 34 points, and in Game 7 had 45 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists in the win. LeBron is currently leading all players in the playoffs in both points and minutes. And as it turns out, he's big tired.
I don't know. I'm burnt right now. I'm not thinking about Toronto right now until tomorrow. I'm ready to go home. I'm tired. I want to go home. So.
He's tired. CeCe, how much of a toll does going 7 games put on LeBron? Not only just waiting, and playing almost every minute in 7 games.
I mean, this is what he signed up for. You know, people talk about LeBron, he's not the general manager. Man, that roster right there, the people in Cleveland, LeBron, they put that roster together. That's all they got. He don't have no choice. He's fortunate that he's in the best shape that he's been in the last 5 years, where his back's not bothering him. It's well documented during the season. He played 82 games for a reason. They don't get out of the play. If he plays 5 less minutes, they don't get out of the first round. LeBron realized what's at stake, and what's at stake is not Cleveland's future. It's LeBron's legacy. And if he wants the things to be said good about him, he better play as many minutes. That's the reason why he clocked in yesterday to play 48 minutes if he had to.
Listen, you guys know I like to look to history to tell about the future. And what I know is this. When LeBron has to play in a 7-game series before the NBA Finals, who cares about a 7-game series in the Finals? Because you got the whole summer off. How does he do in the series after a 7-game series? We've only seen it happen twice where in this run. The year where Boston took them 7. What happened in Game 1 of the next series? They lost to OKC, the only game in that series they lost. Then, the next year, actually, Indiana took them 7. Now, it was odd because the games the Cavs won were comfortable wins except for Game 1. But in Game 7 was a comfortable win, but it was still 7 games LeBron had to play.
Weren't they down 2-1 in that?
They were down 3. It was a back-and-forth series. In fact, I think they went win-loss. But regardless, it went 7. What happened in that next series against the Spurs? LeBron had, I think, 2 of the first 3 finals games. He was held under 20 points. The Spurs got up 3-2 in that series before LeBron had a remarkable finishing kick of games 6 and 7. Going 7 games for LeBron has not boded well for at least the beginning of the following series. Since LeBron's been on this run in Cleveland, they sweep in the first round every single year. They've swept in the second round 2 of the 3 years. They swept in the conference finals 2 of the 3 years.
But there were people that were able to help LeBron, to give him just an opportunity to take a deep breath. He had a Kyrie. He had a number 2 for most of the time that he was doing this. He doesn't have that. There is no second. It's him. And when it's not him, it's seemingly no one.
To speak to your point, Jenna, in the 39 playoff games the Cavs played in the 2 years prior to this one, they had someone other than LeBron score 20 points in those 39 games 36 times. 36 out of 39, they've had someone, at least one person, score 20. In the 7 games this year, they're at 0 times someone other than LeBron has scored 20 points.
Yeah, I've been saying it all year from the time that Kyrie requested the trade, that this year would be haunted by the year without Kyrie. And when you get to these playoffs and you don't have someone like Kyrie, it is all on LeBron's back. And that's the reason why I don't think they're going to make it to the finals. It's not because of LeBron. They didn't think he'll perform. They barely made it out of the first round, and LeBron played brilliant. And after 7 games, he told you he was exhausted. Now, in 48 hours, they're going to go against Toronto on the road against the team that has the best record. Now, this is the best potential matchup that Toronto has had against LeBron James. Let's see what they do with it.
And we'll see if LeBron can keep this up. Something that was underrated in yesterday's game is he set the all-time steals record for in the playoffs. So this is where LeBron is at now for the 5 major statistical categories in the playoffs. He's first in points, 7th in rebounds, 3rd in assists, 1st in steals, and 19th in blocks. It's a remarkable run that he is continuing on. But the reason I bring up the steals, CC, is what we saw yesterday is it wasn't 44 minutes like in the regular season where he's playing a little free safety resting on defense. It was 44 minutes of going all out on both sides of the ball where his body seized up on him for a moment there. I don't know how you're ready when you add in a plane trip to Toronto, even though it's a short trip, Cleveland to Toronto, when you only have the 1 day off. Like, I would not be shocked if LeBron in Game 1 needs those teammates to have the best collective game they've had because he doesn't have much left in the tank, at least at the beginning of this series.
And if George Hill doesn't play this complete series, I believe that's a huge hole, a huge advantage to Toronto if George Hill's not there.
All right, let's take a break. Coming up, do the Patriots have a plan after Tom Brady? Doesn't seem like it might. You got all those?
Doesn't seem like it, guys.
Yeah, that wasn't the only mistake. The blocks, man, he had 216, but that one was a goaltender, so you got to move that back to 215. Like, seriously.
When you look